The GeoCluster feature uses real-time replication to implement Microsoft failover clusters without shared storage or distance limitations, eliminating the single point of failure and giving you the freedom to locate cluster nodes wherever you want. GeoCluster integrates with the operating system at the file system layer to provide replication between nodes of a Windows failover cluster, providing administrators with one-step management of data replication and cluster configuration for multi-site clusters. Built on failover clustering, the GeoCluster feature offers added data protection, failover, and disaster recovery. It guarantees continual access to data and applications across sites and eliminates the single point of failure for improved cluster protection. The new node and file share majority quorum arbitration of Windows 2008, along with double-take availability, make it possible to place cluster nodes at separate sites for additional redundancy in multi-site cluster architectures. Once the GeoCluster resource types have been created and registered, cluster-aware applications can be installed and configured in exactly the same way as they are for traditional shared storage clusters. Instead of using the default cluster disk resource, however, the GeoCluster replicated disk resource is used. The properties of the GeoCluster replicated disk resource provide the ability to configure and customize replication of the clustered data. For example, you can select which local volumes are being synchronized and replicated between cluster nodes, which network path to use for replication, and whether or not to enable features such as compression for replicated data. After the GeoCluster replicated disk resource is fully configured, the cluster service or application can be brought online through the Faoilover Cluster Management interface. When the GeoCluster resources are brought online, double-take availability begins an initial synchronization of the shared data between the cluster nodes. Once the initial synchronization of the shared data is complete, failover between nodes can occur. Failover clustering will perform its native application monitoring and initiate failover if any application resources fail or the cluster group is manually moved between nodes.